Hey there, Momo's going to read you a book today. I hope you like it. It's by Dr. Seuss, and it's called I Had Trouble in Getting to Solla Sollew. Are you ready to begin? I was real happy and carefree and young and lived in a place called Valley of Bone. And nothing, not anything, ever went wrong until, well, one day I was walking along and I guess I got careless. I guess I got gawking at daisies and not looking where I was walking. And that's how it started. So, what a shock. I stubbed my big toe and, oh, and on a very hard rock. And I flew through the air, and I went for a sail, and I sprained my main bone in the tip of my tail. Now, I never have ever had troubles before, so I said to myself, I don't want any more. And if I watch out for rocks with my eyes straight ahead, I'll keep out of trouble forever, I said. But watching ahead, well, it just didn't work. I was watching those rocks, then I felt a hard jerk. A very fresh green-headed Quilligan quail sneaked up from the back and went after my tail. Look at him. And I learned there are troubles of more than one kind. Some come from ahead and some come from behind. So I said to myself, now I'll just have to start to be twice as careful and twice as smart. I'll watch out for trouble in front and in back, and I'll watch out by aiming my eyeballs in different directions. I found this to be quite a difficult stunt, but now I was safe both back and in front. The new troubles came from above and below. As skirts at my neck and a skrink at my toe. And now I was really in trouble, you know, the rocks and the quail and the skirts and the skrink. I had so many troubles, I just couldn't even think. See the skirts and the skrink? There I was, all completely surrounded by trouble, when a chap rumbled up in a one-wheel wumble. Young fellow, he said, what's happened to you has happened to me and to other folks too. So I'll tell you what I've decided to do. I'm off to the city of Solla Sollew, on the banks of the beautiful River Wahoo, where there are never any troubles, at least very few. It's not very far, and my camel is strong. He'll get us there fast, so hop on, come along. So he hopped off with the chap and his camel and his one-wheeler wobble. And there they set off for the Solla Sollew. It's on the beautiful river of Wahoo. I jumped up behind him, then all through the day, the wobble wobbled on a wobblesome way. The road got more bumpy, more rocky, more tricky. By midnight, I tell you, my stomach felt icky. And so I said, Mr. Please, when do we get to that wonderful town? Aren't we almost there yet? Young fellow, he told me, don't start to stew. At sunrise, we'll drive into Solla Sollew, and you'll have no more troubles, I promise you I do. But when dawn finally came and the darkness got light, that wonderful city was nowhere in sight. Instead of the city, we ran into trouble. Our camel got sick and he started to bubble. We had to pull him into the one-wheeler wobble, and there we were in dreadful position. Our camel sure needed a camel physician. The camel got sick, and they had to pull him in the one-wheel wobble. Now, doctors for camels are not often seen, especially on mountains. They're far, far between. But we pulled that old wobble and set out to find some doctor while dragging our camel behind. I pulled and I pulled. Then the next thing I knew, I was pulling the camel and the wobble chap too. Now, I really thought, this is rather unfair. But he said, don't you, Stu, I'm doing my share. This is called teamwork. I furnish the brains. You furnish the muscles and the aches and the pains. I'll pick up the best roads, tell you just where to go, and we'll find a good doctor more quickly, you know. Then he sat and we worked with his brain and his tongue, and he bossed me around just because I was young. He told me go left and he told me go right, and that's what he told me all day and all night. See? He was making him pull him along, bossing him around, just because he was young. Next morning, we located Dr. Sam Snell, who knew all about tonsils and camels as well. Our camel, he said, had a bad case of gleeks and should lie flat in a bed for at least 20 weeks. I was tired, how I wanted to crawl in that bed, but the wobble chap sent me away and he said, your troubles are particularly all at the end. Just run down the hill and around the next bend, and you'll come to a Happy Way bus route, my friend. The Happy Way bus leaves at 4:42 and will take you directly to Solla Sollew, on the banks of the beautiful River Wahoo, where they never have troubles, at least very few. So he sent me away on my way to find the bus route. Well, the bus stop was there, and that part was just fine, but tacked on a stick was a very small sign saying, notice to passengers using our line, we are sorry to say that our driver Butch Myers ran over 4 nails and has punctured all tires. So until further notice, the 442 cannot possibly take you to Solla Sollew. But I wish you a most pleasant journey by feet. Signed, Bus Line President Horace P. Sweet. So I went on by feet thanks to Horace P. Sweet. And that Horace P. Sweet almost ruined my feet. See, right there was the bus stop. A 100 miles later, my feet were so sore, then wouldn't you know it, it started to pour. Good night, nurse, it started to rain on me. I was drenched to the skin when a chap in a slicker splashed up and he yelled, it's the midwinter jicker. The midwinter jicker came early this year, and it's not going to be very comfy around here. Any fool would get out, so I've packed up my things and I'm off to my granddaddy's out in Palm Springs. Take cover, he yelled. Use my house if you wish. Then the chap in the slicker splashed off like a fish. I ran in the house and I fell in a heap. I needed my rest, but I just couldn't sleep. Did you ever sleep when your feet were like ice, with a family of owls and a family of mice? I listened all night to the growls and the yowls and the chattering teeth of those mice and those owls. While in midwinter jicker howled horrible howls, I tossed and I flipped and I flopped and I flapped, and I was 5:15 when I finally slept. Gosh, look at that poor guy. Then I dreamed I was sleeping on a billowy billows of soft silken satin marshmallow stuffed pillows. I dreamed I was sleeping in Solla Sollew on the banks of the beautiful River Wahoo, where there never have troubles, at least very few. There I was dreaming. I was sleeping on stuffed pillows of marshmallow. Then I woke up, and it just wasn't true. I was crashing downhill in a flubbleless flood, with suds in my eyes and my mouth full of mud, and my nose full of water, my ears full of shrieks of the owls flying off with the mice in their beaks. And as I said to myself, now I really don't see why troubles like this have to happen to me. Why me? All the time. I floated 12 days without toothpaste or soap. I practically almost had given up hope, when someone up high shouted, "Here, catch the rope!" Then I knew my troubles had come to an end, and I climbed up the rope, calling, "Thank you, my friend!" There he's crawling up the rope. "Thank you, my friend." But was it a friend? I got to the top, but it wasn't a friend. And I saw that my troubles were not at an end. A big man on a horse scared me out of my wits. He bellowed, "I'm General Genghis Khan Schmidt." Look at Genghis Khan Schmidt. Scared him out of his wits. There's a war going on, and it's time that you knew every lad in this land has a duty to do. We're marching to battle. We need you, my boy. We're about to attack. We're about to destroy the perilous Poozer of Pamplemousse Pass. So get in line. You're a private first class. He gave me a shooter and one little bean, which was not very much, if you see what I mean. Oh gosh, a shooter and one little bean. Then he yelled, "Get that Poozer! Attack without fear! The glorious moment of victory is near!" And the glorious general led us in advance with the glorious swish of his sword and his lance, and the glorious clank of his tin-plated pants. Off to war they go. Then we ran around the corner, and round that, alas, there was more than one Poozer in Pamplemousse Pass. And Genghis Khan Schmidt shouted out to his men, "This happens in war every now and again. Sometimes we're winners and sometimes we're losers. You never can win against so many Poozers. And so I suggest at this time to retreat," and the army raced off in its tin-plated feet. They just ran off and retreated because there were too many Poozers to fight against. Oh my goodness. There I was with more Poozers than I've ever seen. There I was with my shooter and only one bean. There I was, and I thought, well, if I ever get through to the wonderful city of Solla Sollew on the banks of the beautiful River Wahoo, where there never are troubles, at least very few. Because look at all the Poozers that surrounded him. I had terrible trouble in staying alive. Then I saw an old pipe that said vent number 5. I didn't have time to find out what that meant, but that vent had a hole, and the hole's where I went. Skate down the hole of the vent number 5. Well, that vent where I went was a sort of a funnel that led me down into a frightful black tunnel. The traffic down there was a mess, I must say, with billions of birds going all the wrong way. They bumped me with bikes. They banged me with dishes. I ran into ladders, beds, bottles, and fishes. I skidded on garbage. I fell in the horn. Troubles I wished I had never been born. My goodness, look at that tunnel. I was down there 3 days in that bird-filled-up place. At least 8,000 times I fell smack on my face. I injured 3 fingers, both thumb my both lips, my shin bone, my backbone, and my wishbone and hips. What's more, I was starved. I had nothing to eat, and damp. Was it damp? I grew moss on my feet. Then just when I thought I could stand it no more, by chance I discovered a tiny trap door. I popped my head out. The great sky was sky blue. I knew from the flowers I'd finally come through to the banks of the beautiful River Wahoo. It couldn't be far now from Solla Sollew. Look there with all the flowers down the beautiful river of Wahoo. There it was, with its glittering towers in the air. It made it. I'd done it. At last I was there, and I knew that I'd felt my troubles behind when a chap at the doorway that shimmered and shined waved me at a wave that was friendly and kind. He was waving friendly and kind. Welcome, he said as he gave me his hand. Welcome, my son, to this beautiful land. Welcome to sweet, sunny Solla Sollew, where we never have troubles, at least very few. As a matter of fact, we have only one, just one. Imagine just one little trouble, my son. And this one little trouble, as you will now see, is the one little trouble I have with my key. Now, you know, Momo has trouble with her key all the time because she's a realtor, and she has trouble with keys. There is only one door to Solla Sollew, and we have a key-slapping slipper. We do. The troublesome slipper moved into my door 2 weeks ago Tuesday at 3:45. Since then, I can't open this door anymore, and I can't kill the slipper. It's very bad luck to kill any slipper, and that's why we're stuck. And why no one gets in, this town's gone to pot. Its terrible state of affairs. It is not. And so, said the doorman of Solla Sollew, my job at the door here is finished. I'm through. I'll tell you what I have decided to do. Look at that slipper that's living in the keyhole. I'm leaving, he said. I'm leaving Solla Sollew on the banks of the beautiful River Wahoo, where we never have troubles, at least very few. And I'm off to the city of Bula Booba, on the banks of the beautiful River Woo-Haw, where we never have troubles, no troubles at all. Come along with me, he said as he ran, and you'll never have any more troubles, young man. There's the doorman running off to Bula Booba. I had no more troubles, that's what the man said. So I started to go, but I didn't instead. I did some quick thinking inside my own head. Then I started back home to the Valley of Momo. I know I'll hate troubles. I maybe get stung. I'll always have troubles. I maybe get bit by that green-headed quail on the place where I sit. But I bought a big bat, and I'm ready, you see. Now my troubles are going to have troubles with me. And that's the end. He bought a big bat to bat away his troubles. Okay, Momo will pick another book and read to another one later. Okay? Love you much. Bye-bye.